We have a listener question from Stephanie, who will either make you feel lazy.
Oh, good.
Or perhaps that there's a whole other personality type besides type A and type B. Let's hear from Stephanie.
Hey there. So my name is Stephanie, and I'm a pre-med. To be more specific, I'm early admissions to my local college, UCF. Sorry, I'm driving right now. That's what the kicker is. So I'm going to graduate with my associates in most of my basic science credit when I graduate high school. And I wanted to ask you guys, like, how do I approach studying for the MCAT, getting my research hours, my clinicals, when I pretty much only have 2 years left of undergrad? And additional to that, do med schools even like 19-year-olds applying? Yes, and let me know. And I love the podcast, by the way. It makes me laugh every time. So, yeah, thank you.
Wow.
Are you?
I'm
Can we
impressed.
clarify the timeline
Yeah.
really quick?
Yeah.
She is about to graduate high school.
So she's about to graduate high school as early admission to UCF.
to UCF.
So she is in to UCF. I'm
For
presumably.
medical school or for the rest of her?
undergrad.
undergrad.
But
I
she's
thought she was
coming in
early
with so many
admission
transfer
for-
credits.
Yeah.
So she's got 2 years of transfer
Okay.
credits from high school, it sounds
Okay.
like.
Oh,
I'm
makes
following.
good sense.
And so
yeah.
she's really only got 2 years left at UCF
that she needs to be
that
there.
she needs. And then she can apply to medical school and she'd be 19 at the end of that.
Yeah.
Stephanie, you are insane. You are an incredible person. I am so impressed right now. Wow.
Mad woman. Boy, I mean, discipline, I would imagine, is going to be how you get there.
Discipline, and also making sure to make contact with whichever advisor. Like for the record, if it helps give you confidence, I didn't actually start prepping for med school until like halfway through my sophomore year when I only had like 2.5 years left of college. So
I don't think that's something Stephanie would ever consider not.
I know I'm so lazy. I'm such a slacker. But like it is totally doable. So don't stress about that part. You crazy, relentless, mad woman.
I would also add too, in the 2 years of, prepping for med school, take some time to have fun and be
seriously.
an undergrad and be a college student.
I agree. I worry about, and this is patronizing of me. I understand that, but I just worry about people who are so like, they're just going for it. I worry that there's the potential for burnout, that there's the potential for missing out on some things, experiences that you should have as a college. Maybe not getting crunk.
Yeah, I was going to say like getting blackout drunk in a 7-Eleven parking lot.
That's not a thing.
There's a lot of other
You
experiences
can get through
to
college
have.
without experiencing that.
That is true. Yeah, that is not a requirement of college.
# hidden curriculum.
Right. But yeah, I imagine that you're going to have to have a plan, and you're going to have to be flexible in that plan because sometimes things don't work out.
100%.
Don't stress out about it. This is a long journey.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Certainly.
I actually, you bring up a good point because part of this question is like she's going into UCF and is already planning her like medical school application, which is already kind of a lot. Like, I mean, I get it. You're very driven, and that's something that I really respect about you. I don't know when this turned into an interview. Yeah, like there's an extent of I can pretty much guarantee that things are going to happen even in those 2 years that you have not anticipated yet. And I want to make sure that's not going to throw you off.
That's just life. Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
life happens.
I would also say, and kind of putting myself in my, I guess, 16-year-old shoes, I remember a day in which I thought, there's always, I got to just get through it and then I can be an adult. You got to get through it as fast as you can because then you can live your life and then you can do all the great things in the world. And so I see where she's coming from. My best advice for you would be to kind of take a step back and think about what's going to make you the happiest right now. If that is grinding as much as you can for medicine and getting into medical school as fast as possible, then albeit do that. Like that's incredible. But if you take a step back and you think, maybe I want to take a gap year, maybe I want to study abroad in France, maybe I want to backpack across Asia. And I think if you take a step back and realize those are things you want to do, then extend that period of time a little bit more and just put medical school on pause, because I promise once you get to medical school, you will not be able to do those things.
Yeah.
It'll
That's a good
still
point,
be
yeah.
here when you get back.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent as well. It's like, giving yourself that time, I think. So I entered into undergrad also having quite a few credits taken care of. And I had this option essentially of, okay, do I want to shorten this down to, 2.5, 3 years, or do I want to spread it out? And I ended up spreading it out, and that's why I did my music minor. That was what like fleshed out for me undergrad. And in addition to that, I also had a few gap years before undergrad. So I had a decent amount of time that I had taken, and I'm definitely extremely thankful for that time. I wouldn't say any of that was stuff that didn't like help with medicine. In fact, I'd say like all of that was not only very helpful in terms of like boosting up, I guess, your traditional resume, things like being able to have some time to volunteer overseas, time to like really diversify my interests, but also I think it was even more beneficial for just my general well-being, feeling like I could enter med school having an established lifestyle and some hobbies that I knew I really enjoyed. And, again, I'm not at all, dissing on having that drive to move forward, because I think that's really valuable and will serve you extremely well once you hit the rigors of med school. But taking that time to really have some time for self-reflection and time to say, okay, like what do I enjoy? What can I do to really reap some fruit from my undergrad time? Because a lot of students are entering med school who have masters, some who have PhDs, there's people with a lot of qualifications. And while moving really fast, I think may seem desirable, I think there's also something to be said for having a little extra time to flesh out not just your resume, but also just who you are as a person.
I was going to say the same thing. I was going to be like, don't lose track of who you are as a person, because academics get your foot in the door, but you have to realize that who you are as a person is a selling point as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't lose track of that.
I kind of wanted to jump in as well, because I could not agree more with that, taking some time for your own hobbies, because I got a minor in like classical culture, and it only required taking like 5 extra classes, but those classes were some of the best times I had in undergrad. Like, I don't remember a lot about my microbiome class or my like genetics class, but I do remember having spirited debate about book like 5 of the Inferno in my one classics class that I took with one of my favorite professors, or like learning about gladiatorial warm-up areas in one of my archaeology classes.
I took a Gothic literature class that was like one of my favorite classes.
They're so fun. Yeah, and that I remember being I actually kind of wish I had taken some more time, like taken a gap year, done something. Like, A, because that's more life experience to have under your belt, and B, because it does help you get more, I hate to say resume padding because it's always my absolute worst enemy whenever I come on here, but even just getting more experience and things that you can demonstrate to show colleges, like, this is who I am, and I have learned these things, and I've done these, and
you know what?
Having all this stuff.
I see what you're saying about the phrase padding, but here's my personal take on it. Every person that you meet, every person that you come into contact becomes, and I know this is going to get trippy, dippy, hippie, but becomes a part of you. Every experience you have becomes a part of you. It shapes who you are and how you react to the world. I think it's best to get a breadth of experience in your lifetime, right?
Good and bad.
Good and bad. And and that allows you to become a more, I don't know what the word, interesting, a more full person,
I think full person is a good descriptor. Like,
but, I also want to address your actual question instead of admonishing you to stop it.
Yeah.
Valid.
We do our best to raise our listeners up on this podcast.
Well, yeah, I love you, Stephanie, and I think that you're going to be amazing, even if if you come in at 19 or if you come in at 25. It doesn't.
Yeah. May I take a stab at a quick summary statement?
Yeah.
Like, your goals are doable, and as long as you have the drive to make them happen, you can make them happen. But our advice in general would be to just consider slowing down a bit.
Yes.
You don't have to take that advice.
Self-reflection.
Yeah. And if you self-reflect and you're like, nope, still want to go for it, then absolutely, by all means, you make your dreams happen.
Yes.
That said, just make sure you're not rushing ahead blindly.
As for your actual question, you're going to need to do a lot of planning. You're going to need to probably take summers and intersession classes.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely, if you can get your hands on an MCAT prep class, like see if your college has that. And
what do you guys think about this idea? If you have a class that you feel that you might be weak in, take it during the summer.
I think that's a wonderful idea.
I think that's a very
Certainly.
good
Yeah.
idea.
I think I've
yeah.
heard that from a lot of advisors that is a great idea because you get to spend all of your time.
You have
Yeah,
more
it's
to-
like
yeah.
it comes at you faster, but you also don't have to worry about the weird paper that you have to write for that one history class
Yep.
that you have to take for
Exactly.
a graduation
Yeah,
requirement.
exactly.
for
Yeah.
that one English class that everyone has to take that everyone hates. but-
Yeah, that no one wants
Yeah.
to take, but everyone has to take.
I'm so much smarter now than I was in college. I'm so much smarter. I did not do like all of this advice that I would give you now. I could not have come up with when I was a stupid undergrad.
Well, that's kind of the point of what we're talking about, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like I couldn't have come up with this advice when I was an undergrad because undergrad me was a moron.
Unless
like,
someone
exactly.
Good self-reflection there.
yeah, like although undergrad me did decide to learn how to ride a longboard, and that was still like one of the best decisions I've made.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm hip.
You still ride around on your longboard? I've never seen-
Occasionally, it's not flat enough around here or enough like.
Yeah, it's all hills and it's
So
Yeah,
you're a
it's-
lazy longboard.
Yes, I am.
Fair enough. I would love to hear a lot more about your journey, Stephanie. I hope you'll keep in touch with us and
yeah.
and tell
Best
us.
of luck.
Tell
You
us how
have
it's
really
going.
inspired me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a lot to accomplish.
Go for it, you crazy person.
Very proud.
Absolutely,
But-
we're
but
rooting
keep your
for you.
keep your feet on the ground. And,
Especially now because you're driving. Like, my gosh, woman.
Yeah. Don't. You don't need to call us while you're driving.
I feel very inspired when I'm driving. I get my best thoughts when I'm driving.
It's true. Or in the shower. And that's the worst because you can't write them down. And by the time I've gotten out and dried off, it's like, well, that was a great idea. That's lost now forever.
I'm
Or-
a big proponent of bathroom thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, a lot of good science. There's actually an example of a man who solved one of these really complex physics problems when he was taking a shower and thought, I can't write anything down. So he just used his finger and the steam and started writing out equations. And apparently it was like one of his big breakthroughs. So, I'm a proponent for that.
Oddly, that hasn't happened to me. But.
Maybe tomorrow.